Have you ever dreamt of being locked inside of a cage with Adam Pacitti, Jackie Chan, and some mashed potato? With Adam rubbing that mashed potato all over your... Well, Sunday is your lucky day because right here on this wrestling YouTube channel, Adam Pacitti himself, along with Jackie Chan, along with some mashed potato and some other bollocks, they will all be live streaming their reactions to WWE Elimination Chamber 2021. And if you're sat there going, Ross, that makes no sense whatsoever. How can Adam Pacitti, Jackie Chan and some mashed potato be in the same video at the same time? Well, you'll have to tune in and it will all make sense. But I am Ross Tweddell from Cultaholic Wrestling, your reigning and defending Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion, joined by the special calamari to the Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion, Clarence. Isn't Clarence looking sassy? How are you doing today, Clarence?
Yes.
Good stuff, and these are Cultaholic Wrestling's Elimination Chamber 2021 predictions. No punishment this time, but that prestigious championship title right there is on the line for anybody who thinks they're hard enough to come and have a go and have a shot at the champ and his special calamari. You're not hard enough though, are you? Because you've got no squid. I've got some squid. Let's crack on with the predictions. So first up, we have the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match where we have the champion, Daddy Drew McIntyre, defending his title against Jeff Hardy, against AJ Styles, against Randy Orton, against Kofi Kingston, and against Sheamus. And let me tell you, everybody, I reckon this is the most predictable match of the entire night. Daddy Drew McIntyre for the win here. There's a little bit in the back of my mind that's maybe same with the entire WWE Network moving over to Peacock thing, maybe with Fastlane being the first pay-per-view on Peacock and maybe being seen by more people than it might have been beforehand. Could they have Sheamus potentially win and then Daddy Drew McIntyre having an all-conquering victory on the first pay-per-view on Peacock? But I reckon that's a load of poppycock. And I also think the entire Roman Reigns situation, where Roman Reigns, of course, is having his championship match after an Elimination Chamber match, was put on by WWE because they didn't want to have one Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, two chamber matches, and two champions retaining on the same show. So Daddy Drew McIntyre for the win here.
So, the Raw Elimination Chamber. I don't want to alarm anybody, but I'm going for Sheamus in this one.
Okay.
I've actually done it, yeah. I feel like there's still a bit of a way to go until WrestleMania. And my logic is that this time, even though Sheamus stood tall on the go-home show, this is going to be one of those rare occasions where it actually comes true.
It actually pays off.
And he does beat Drew McIntyre because he's entering last. He's got the advantage.
Yeah.
And I think he'll beat Drew, but still with sneaky means, like with a handful of titles or something. And then Drew will win it back at WrestleMania, because I feel like that is a bigger triumph for Drew in front of fans finally than retaining it against Sheamus.
So that's the big Mania match, Drew and Sheamus, that's what you think?
I think so. I'm not convinced myself in saying this, but I'm going to go for Sheamus to win the Raw Elimination Chamber match. Who are you going for?
Well, my pick is Drew to retain. What you're saying there makes perfect sense. And also, I was thinking about this beforehand. I don't know what Drew does next if he does retain.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. Maybe Sheamus can have a rematch because there's a pay-per-view before Mania. Is there Fastlane?
I feel like there's something maybe.
So I think Fastlane is before Mania, which would make sense. So maybe they can have another match there.
Yeah.
With Drew holding on to the belt and defending it again at Fastlane. But other than that, I don't know if they're going to give Sheamus the belt now.
Yeah.
Especially after Drew beat Goldberg. Like, if you were going to take the title off Drew, surely Goldberg would have been the one to do it.
Yeah.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going with Drew here, but yeah, it's a tough one.
I'm going for Drew in this one. I don't know. You know, he won the belt last year at Mania. He had no crowd. And it seems only fair that if they are going to jam a crowd into a stadium in the middle of a pandemic, that Drew would be able to make an entrance as champion in front of such a large crowd. It's not going to be an easy match for him. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be hard fought. But ultimately, I think he's retaining.
Drew will start the match and be on everybody like a cat on Dreamies. It will come down to Drew and that naughty Irish bloke. Drew will claymore his head off and retain the championship. Meow.
So in this Elimination Chamber match, I'm going to pick Drew McIntyre to win this one. Although I can also see Sheamus winning as well. And then them two continue in a feud up to WrestleMania where Drew wins the belt back. But then we got to factor in, will the Miz cash in and stuff as well? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like this could go either way at the end, but I am picking Drew McIntyre to win this one.
then, as I'm stood here right now, it is still a triple threat match for the United States Championship with the champion Bobby Lashley defending against Keith Lee and defending against Riddle. What could that M stand for on his gear? I have no idea whatsoever. But of course, the internet's rumour mill at the moment, which is always 100% factually correct, is suggesting that maybe there is talk of Keith Lee being removed from the match. But it's still a triple threat match, so a triple threat match we will predict. And if it is a triple threat match, I believe that Bobby Lashley will retain by pinning Riddle, but crucially not Keith Lee. That's how a triple threat match works, Ross. Well done. Which gives Keith Lee license to say, hey Vince McMahon, hey Adam Pearce, don't you forget that I wasn't pinned at Elimination Chamber, and do please remember to book a United States Championship match for WrestleMania 37, a singles match between Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee, where Keith Lee can win the middle-sized one, hold it above his head, and we'll all have a jolly good time. Don't you forget about Keith. You love it, don't you?
So for this one, in the triple threat, I have gone for Bobby Lashley to retain the United States title, because we're really unsure, recording these predictions now, what the situation is with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Is he even going to be in the match? Obviously, he's been absent the last few weeks. My first initial reaction was Keith Lee to win. That was my first thought, but obviously we don't know if he's going to be there on the show. I'm not confident Riddle will pick up the win here, so I'm just going to try and play it safe and just say Bobby Lashley to retain the title. But who do you have?
I'm agreeing with you totally. Everything you've said makes sense. I'm going for Bobby Lashley as well. He's been so dominant recently, and I think that always builds up someone else to end that run of dominance, but I don't think that's going to happen yet. And I think that Lashley will carry the belt into WrestleMania. So Bobby Lashley.
Now, apparently this one could be very, very different on the night because Keith Lee may not be cleared to compete, but I don't know. As much as I would love to see Keith Lee with some main roster gold, like immediately right now, I just don't know if the timing's actually that right for him or Riddle. Or maybe it is and I'm throwing this one away completely. But, you know, Lashley's kind of stepped into his own as US champion, hasn't he? And the Hurt Business and all of that stuff. And it just feels like this has still got some miles left. So maybe this match is going to set up what could potentially happen at Mania. And it feels again that Mania might be a nice point at which to switch the US title.
I will be the saddest of all cats if Keith Lee doesn't get to wrestle on Sunday. Either way, Riddle will beat Lashley to become the new United States champion, as long as he doesn't have too much of that human catnip before the match. Meow.
So for the US Championship match, I'm going to go for Bobby Lashley to win this one. It's a bit weird because we don't really know the status of Keith Lee. It's kind of up in the air whether he's going to be involved in the match or not. But I can sort of see Bobby and Riddle going at it in this match, and then perhaps down the line, Keith Lee comes out, maybe even helps Bobby retain, and Swerve City Central, everybody, becomes a member of the Hurt Business. But we'll see what happens. That might just be some fantasy booking on my behalf. It probably is. But yeah, I'm taking Big Bobbert Lashley to retain here.
So next up for the Raw Women's Championship, we have Asuka defending against who? Because as we all saw on last week's Raw, Lacey Evans announced that she is pregnant. First of all, Lacey, from everyone here at Cultaholic Wrestling, a massive congratulations on what is apparently a very real pregnancy. And also a massive thank you to Lacey Evans' unborn child for saving us from the utter bollocks that was Lacey Evans versus Charlotte Flair versus Ric Flair in a weird way. Thank you. Big ups to the Perriot. But if we are going to have a replacement for this match, I am going for This Is My Brutality. Whoa. She'll come in from parts unknown, which of course is situated just over there, somewhere between NXT and somewhere between Monday Night Raw. She's in the middle, somewhere there. And because I do believe that Lacey Evans would have won if she was still in the match on Sunday, Rhea Ripley will win the Raw Women's Championship out of nowhere, take it onto WrestleMania, maybe defend it against Charlotte Flair, and hopefully just slap Charlotte Flair and get the victory she should have had this time last year at WrestleMania 36. But Rhea Ripley, shock, surprise, return, debut, whatever it is, she'll win the match.
So for this one, I mean, if Lacey Evans was in this match, I mean, it's still being advertised at the time of recording, obviously,
Yeah.
but we don't think it's probably going to happen.
No, don't think so.
But I would have obviously picked Lacey Evans instead. I think that Asuka will face, this is going to sound really out of left field, but I think she's going to face Bayley.
Okay.
Obviously, Bayley's not on the same brand or anything, but I went on Wikipedia, I looked at the list of Raw roster members. I couldn't see a single person on the Raw roster in the women's division that could realistically face Asuka, in my opinion, anyway. So I thought, I tried to think like WWE, and I thought, right, we need an opponent at short notice. Who's credible? Who's potentially going to come into this match? I've gone for Bayley because on the SmackDown roster, she's not really doing much. She's in a bit of a weird little feud with the Riot Squad. Billie Kay is involved a little bit, but I think they're going to hop Bayley over into this match. And I'm going to also predict, I think Bayley's going to win.
Come out of left field, why don't you?
I think Bayley's going to win.
Oh,
She's
my
going to
word.
become Raw Women's Champion and then lose it to Charlotte at WrestleMania. I feel like Charlotte needs a heel to beat at WrestleMania. They desperately want to put the belt on her, obviously. And I think that, unfortunately, Bayley's going to be a bit of a transitional champion. But Owen, who do you think?
This has just come out of nowhere.
I
just didn't expect
I'm
that.
just blowing minds.
Absolutely bamboozled here.
Who have you gone for? Who do you think Asuka's opponent is going to be?
I thought my pick was a bit outrageous, but this has just come out of nowhere.
Go on,
so
then.
I'm going for, maybe it's a bit more sensible now, but I'm going for Peyton Royce to be Asuka's opponent, because obviously with Lacey Evans missing out, she has been Lacey's partner ever since the split with the Iconics with Billie Kay. So it kind of just makes sense for Peyton to fill in this role here, just for the time being. My initial pick would have been Lacey to beat Asuka here to win the title, but obviously that's not going to happen now. So are they going to have Asuka drop the belt anyway?
Maybe.
I don't know.
There's still time, obviously, for her to drop the belt in the run-up to WrestleMania.
So I've gone with Peyton here because I think this could be Asuka retaining here.
Right.
And then, because as we know, that Fastlane is coming up in a month's time, so maybe Asuka could drop the belt there before Mania to set up whatever WrestleMania match is going to be for the title. But yeah, I'm going for Peyton and Asuka to retain.
Now, I've got a horrible, horrible feeling. And as much as I would love to see Rhea versus Asuka, I personally think they might end up putting Charlotte into the match instead. The past the pair of them have is big enough to warrant it. You know, Charlotte beat Asuka at Mania. They have a long history of feuding with each other, and, you know, they were recent former tag champions. I think Asuka's retaining still, but I don't know. I can't help but shake the feeling that this is going to be Charlotte. Of course, WWE also loves them some Charlotte, so it wouldn't be really that surprising to anybody, would it?
I think Peyton Royce will replace Lacey Evans in the match, and she'll lose to Asuka pretty quickly. By the way, congratulations to Lacey Evans on becoming pre-Ganon, and I hope you have a healthy litter of kittens. Meow meow.
Again, this is another match that's kind of up in the air. We don't really know what's happening with it, but I'm going to stick with what I pitched in the video last night, and I'm going to say if someone does come out to challenge Asuka, it's going to be Rhea Ripley. I would love to see Rhea Ripley come out and challenge Asuka for the belt. However, I don't think Rhea Ripley would win this. Maybe we build up to a big feud, perhaps even a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Rhea, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair, where Rhea finally has a WrestleMania moment, pinning Charlotte and hoisting that women's championship up high. However, tonight, I think Asuka is going to retain, maybe for story's sake. Make Asuka look strong again. Make her look like the amazing champion she actually is. So yeah, I am going for Asuka to win this one and for Rhea Ripley to be her opponent.
And next up we have the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match where we have main event Jey Uso against Kevin Owens, against Sami Zayn, against Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin, against Daniel Bryan and against Cesaro. And I am absolutely terrified. The way the past two SmackDowns have ended, that Kevin Owens is going to win that match. And then once again we'll see Kevin Owens taking on Roman Reigns, and once again we'll see Kevin Owens lose to Roman Reigns in a big matchup. And I tell you what, WWE, I don't know how many more times I can see Kevin Owens lose to Roman Reigns, even though the matches are always fantastic. It just hurts more and more each and every time it happens. They can't do it again, surely. So I'm putting my money on the final two in the Elimination Chamber match being main event Jey Uso, because that would be saucy, wouldn't it? And Big Dick Tony himself, Cesaro, with Big Dick Tony going on and winning the match and going on to face Roman Reigns later in the night. Because let me tell you a secret, everybody, right? Clarence, listen in. Cesaro's really good at wrestling.
So, Jack, it's the big one, SmackDown Elimination Chamber. The winner goes on to face Roman Reigns that same night at Elimination Chamber, and I'm going for a big win for Cesaro. He's been getting the big push over on SmackDown in the recent weeks. He had that amazing segment promo on Talking Smack where he just showed his love and passion for the graps, for pro wrestling.
He loves it.
He absolutely loves it. And I love his love for wrestling.
Me too.
So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going for Cesaro. He deserves the spotlight shone on him on this show. And we'll see what happens in the main event on the show. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, for the Chamber as a whole, I'm going for Cesaro to win. What do you have?
Oh, and you'll be delighted to know that I'm also going for Cesaro. We are Team Cesaro.
We love Cesaro in this
Elimination
flat.
Chamber. Come on, Cesaro.
Come on, mate.
You can do it, mate. I've got no analysis to offer. I just want you to win. Come on, Cesaro. Come on.
This one has to be, as far as I can read it, this one has to be Kevin Owens. Now, as great as it would be to have Cesaro win this and then, go one-on-one with Roman immediately after, and Roman probably beat him down in a big showing for underdog Cesaro, it doesn't really line up in terms of the storylines. At the minute, Kevin Owens is kind of Roman Reigns' nemesis, and so Kevin Owens is the most logical choice.
He's an outside bet, but I think Cesaro will shock the world by winning the Elimination Chamber. He's had a hot streak lately and, just like Jellicles can, I think Cesaro can too.
So for the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, it's pretty stacked, and I would like to see a few people win, but ultimately I'm going to pick Cesaro for this one. I think the way they've been building him on SmackDown at the moment has been fantastic. The stuff he's been doing with Daniel Bryan has been great, and then Daniel Bryan putting him over a little bit as well in the matches. So I'm picking Cesaro for this one. I really think it's his time to shine. He's been doing incredible things and he deserves this. He really deserves this, I think, more than anybody in the chamber at the moment. So yes, let's will it into existence, everybody. Big Daddy Cesaro, you are the one I'm going to pick.
And finally, for the Universal title, we have Roman Reigns putting this title on the line against the winner of the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, which in my opinion is going to be Cesaro. So Cesaro against Roman Reigns. I believe that Roman Reigns will come out victorious, but it gives Cesaro license to go on to next week's SmackDown and say, hey Roman, I was absolutely knackered, you no good dog table man prick. I've just gone through a bastard Elimination Chamber match. Let me face you when I am 100% at the next pay-per-view, WrestleMania. Oh, there's Fastlane, is there? Who the hell booked a Fastlane? I guess I'll face you at Fastlane then, Roman.
So me and Owen are obviously both going for Cesaro in the Elimination Chamber, but then when it comes down to it, we suspect that Roman Reigns is probably going to defend his title against Cesaro, or whoever wins the Elimination Chamber, immediately after that match. Now, out of Roman and any of the people in the Elimination Chamber, I'm going for Roman Reigns to retain.
Yeah.
Not just because he's got the obvious advantage with being fresh after they've just been through a grueling match, but also because I just cannot see them taking this belt off him before WrestleMania and a potential match, as is rumoured at least, with Edge. What are you going to say about this?
Yeah, can't disagree with you there. I think no matter who wins the Elimination Chamber, Roman Reigns retains the belt here. Everything's set up for the big run into Mania. Probably against Edge, like you said. The Battle of the Spears, Jack.
Yeah,
Battle of the Spears.
Absolutely.
So Paul Cesaro, even though we love him so much and we love his love for wrestling, I think Roman's going to retain here.
But I would love it if Cesaro beat him.
Love it.
Love it.
And finally, yeah, it's got to be Roman, hasn't it? It has to be Roman, because there's no way he's dropping the belt before Mania. There's just not. It can't possibly happen. Like, Owens isn't just gonna, Owens is gonna win the Chamber. Owens isn't just gonna get steamrolled over, though. Like, Roman's expecting to come down and just absolutely roll over him, foot on the chest, 1, 2, 3. But I think Owens is going to take him to some sort of limit, and it's going to result in shenanigans, which may eventually set up whatever we're going to get again at Mania. But yeah, I don't think there's really going to be any surprises here. Roman will get his way, as he always does.
If Roman Reigns is giving a title shot immediately after the Chamber, I reckon a cream-crackered Cesaro will have a good showing, but he will be beaten by the big dog. I don't want to talk about big dogs anymore.
And finally, I think Roman Reigns, no matter what, he's a big heely heel. I think he's got to win. He's got to win here. However, if Cesaro does win the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, maybe the match is straight after, because, Roman being the naughty boy that he is, he's just going to take advantage of that, isn't he? And I think if we see maybe Cesaro kick out of a spear or something after he's been through a hellacious Elimination Chamber, have him kick out of a few spears, make him look amazing. Make Cesaro look amazing, because he deserves it. But also make Roman look even worse, so when he finally does lose that belt, it's going to be an amazing accomplishment for someone. But yeah, I think ultimately it's going to be Roman Reigns that comes out on top in this one tonight.
And so that's it for Cultaholic Wrestling's Elimination Chamber 2021 predictions. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, Adam Pacitti's live reactions will be happening live as soon as the pay-per-view starts. That's how that kind of stuff works right here on this YouTube channel. And of course on Monday we'll have Graded, we'll have me doing the WTF moments, and we'll have some news as well. War stories coming out over the weekend, an Elimination Chamber list. It's all happening here at Cultaholic Wrestling. But most importantly, I'll retain that bad lad there, and Clarence can remain the special calamari to the Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Monday for some reactionary content.